Now, this is Carolyn Craven.
Get rid of any kind of depression, decrease headaches, and even prevent killer diseases like cancer and heart disease from attacking you when in the future. Those are some claims, and before we meet the men who made these claims, let's meet the people who believe this and have reason. This is Donna Miller. This is Nora Gambino. And this is Carolyn Butler. Donna, starting with you, life was miserable. How miserable?
Well, about 1972, I developed allergies to pollen, dander, dust, that sort of thing, just typical allergies. And then eventually they became worse and worse until by 1980, I had migraines, asthma, heart problems, backache. It just went. I was fainting all the time, and I was being treated for just regular allergy.
But that's 13 years. You must have been at your wit's end.
I was, especially in the fall. It was almost impossible. My allergist said stay away from pollen, so I stayed indoors almost all the time, and it was very depressing. It was,
I would
was
think
close
so.
to suicidal, actually.
Okay, let's move quite quickly along. Nora, you have cerebral palsy, correct?
Yes, Sally. I have cerebral palsy, and when I was approximately 21 years old, I was misdiagnosed as having multiple sclerosis as well. I was having difficulty with dizziness, disorientation, tremor, and my muscle spasticity was very, very, very strong. I would go to neurologists. Several neurologists would tell me, Nora, you don't accept your cerebral palsy. No, I don't. To accept is to endure without protest.
Good for you.
But they would tell me that I was supposed to go to a psychiatrist, and they would pump me with Valium. I don't need it. When I heard about the studies with Dr. Mandel, I volunteered to work with him, and he helped me. He saved it.
Where did you heard about a man named Dr. Mandel. Where did you hear him?
Well, I've known Dr. Mandel since I was a baby. But I was living in Hamden at the time, and my brother called me. He heard Dr. Mandel on the radio.
A radio show.
And I reunited with Dr. Mandel, and through sublingual testing, this Italian is allergic to tomatoes.
Bad news.
Bad news, all right. But it's also been able to help me to learn to control my life.
Can an Italian live without tomatoes?
I cheat.
You cheat?
I won't lie, I cheat. But that's just one thing. The thing that I'd like people, especially people with cerebral palsy or other debilitating illnesses or injuries like cerebral palsy, to know is that there is help out there. You may not react to an allergy with a runny nose. You may further make your spasticity get worse, and you don't even know it. You just say, well, it's CP.
Sure, you
and
just think it's part of the
don't take the garbage
disease.
about going to the psychiatrist.
They always, you know, when you go a lot and they can't figure out, they're always saying it's probably in your head. Carolyn, you have Hodgkin's disease, huh? What is that?
Hodgkin's disease is a cancer of the lymphatic system. Sounds an awful lot like AIDS in its advanced stages because it systematically goes through and destroys all of your lymph glands, and so it destroys your immune system. You are left with no immunity, and anything, a common cold, could kill you.
Whoa. So how was life? When were you diagnosed?
It was 10 years ago. I was 21 years old and 6 months pregnant with my little girl at the time when the doctors diagnosed it. Unfortunately, they couldn't do anything for 3 months, and then I went through 4 months of radiation therapy.
Right after birth?
Right after birth. I couldn't even nurse my child because, of course, you don't want to give radiated milk to your child.
Horrendous medical problems. And here are the 3 doctors that have been taking care of them. And Dr. H.L. Newbold, welcome back. You have been with us before, and the doctor has made a study of meganutrients. In the middle is Dr. Marshall Mandel, and he's also a medical doctor. And you have a specialty in allergies, huh?
Well, I've been particularly interested in internal allergies that unfortunately most allergists don't know anything about, but they make millions and millions of people sick. They were affecting Nora, interfering with the quality of her life. There are hundreds of thousands of people in mental hospitals who have nervous system allergy that's not even recognized. And there's a whole spectrum of illness that allergists could do miracles with if they would take the time and trouble to learn about it. Emotions don't do it. A brain is malfunctioning, and that's why people are sick. And there's so much blame put in the wrong place.
I back him up on that because I'm a fully qualified psychiatrist as well as an internist. And I used to teach psychiatry at Northwestern. And it's disgraceful. I had a patient in the office last week from Texas who came to see me, and he has enormously, he's very paranoid, suspicious of everybody, and it's nothing but food allergies. I have a patient from San Juan a few weeks ago, and his is all cleared up.
You know,
but I think it goes beyond
well,
just
let me
allergy.
Introduce you. Speaking now, Dr. Joseph Weissman is a medical doctor and also is involved in what we are talking about today. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but what you're saying to us, let me go through, that I could go to a psychiatrist, spend 15 years at $75 a pop on his couch, have him hear the whole story of my life and what I ate for breakfast 9 million times, and not get 1 iota better because I have an allergy?
Well, I think it goes beyond allergy. If we're talking about allergy, you usually think of pollen or food allergies or things like that. But what I want to point out that it goes beyond allergy, and that there are toxins in the environment that are very much important. The toxins in the environment that get into our food chain is causing a lot of illness that's going unrecognized.
Dr. Mandela, what are cerebral allergies?
You've got 2 sentences to do.
Very simply, these are allergic reactions or allergy-like reactions that take place in the brain, and they can affect any function of the brain: your intelligence, your thinking, your motor power, sensation, anything in that brain that makes you, you.
What would our brain be allergic?
With Nora, she had a brain injury when she was born. There are tissues around that site that are irritable. And when I found the thing she was allergic to, we were able to help her cerebral palsy because we found out what turned them on.
Yeah,
There's something in our brain that we could be that our brain is allergic to. Are we talking about something we eat or something that exists in our brain?
It's something that comes from the outside world. However, it's a little more complicated than that because brains must have adequate nutrition. And the psychiatrist who stopped leaning over the couch and talking to people about their childhood and about their bowel and bladder problems and how they wanted to kill one parent to make love to the other, when they stopped that nonsense and they went after the real thing, what is lacking in his brain? What does it need? Does it need zinc?
Everybody here has experienced a brain allergy because if you've had too much to drink, the next day you have a hangover, and many people here have had a hangover. This is
I want to point out that cerebral palsy is a disease that first was introduced.
Sorry, doctor, it's not a disease.
If anybody here has ever
It's first
had a
introduced in the
Thanksgiving dinner and gone to sleep
mid-1800s.
afterwards,
No
then they
existence
find
of
out.
cerebral
Okay,
palsy
we have a little
before that
problem
time.
with everybody talking at once, and I'm too far up here to kind of control things. Quick question, quick answer. We'll go to break, and then we'll assign you all a number like at the meat counter.
All right, I've lived with